And then now there's like, hey, we're going to do 8 road courses. I'm like, dude, I said 3. Like,
right.
Who the hell said that we want? And then I was like, well, you've been to Circuit of Americas, but I was kind of like, that one sounds interesting. I was like,
I don't like that idea at all. I don't think that track is built for stock cars. I don't think it's going to produce good racing. But Austin is not a NASCAR city. No one here likes NASCAR. No one talks about NASCAR. Dallas and Fort Worth more so. Even Houston more so. Not Austin.
It's like Road America on 4th of July. I'm like, look, I was totally on the fence with the Daytona July move because it's iconic. July 4th Daytona just screams America and bald eagles. But then it was also like, well, if you're going to move it, you gave us the cutoff race, kind of tit for tat. But then it's like freaking road course on July 4th. No, who gives a shit about that? And then it was like, I got real pissed about the Indy road course. I'm all for, like, people are like, oh, Indy or Brickyard 400 is boring. That race sucks. It's like, dude, it's iconic. It's history. It's the Brickyard. It's Indianapolis. And then now, like, them going to the Indy Roval, I'm like, y'all throw that shit away. I don't even want to watch this shit. But I'll watch it. But
are you excited about Nashville?
Nashville, I'm okay with. Then that's another thing. They were kind of teasing, like, we're gonna add a new track.
Oh my god, that was the whole thing. Yeah.
And then they were like, Nashville, and it was like, y'all just teased this whole thing, and that's what it was. But Nashville, I probably should already have gotten tickets because I know it's probably gonna sell out with social distancing and stuff.
Yeah, probably.
But it's only a 4-hour ride for me, and a bunch of buddies of mine have been like, "Dude, we ought to hit Nashville. Like, it's the first Cup race. That'll be sick."
I think Nashville is a great idea. I think bringing back Nashville is great.
I like Nashville, but I've never seen that track, so I was like, well, that's
me
track
either.
I could check off the list.
Right, me either. But it appeases the old school fans because it brings back an older track. Yeah, they get into a new market in Nashville, a big city, which is what they want. It's an oval, right? Isn't it? It's just an oval, right?
It's like a D-shaped oval.
Yeah. That's right. And
it's concrete though.
Oh, interesting. Okay,
that's all. I'm like, I can shake it up. You know, who knows? But I'm also like,
it doesn't have big grandstands either, which is I think really smart. That's what NASCAR needs to do. Like find Darlington size tracks. Well, that's the thing. Rockingham. I don't know why the fuck Rockingham hasn't been brought. Everyone's like, oh, the facilities aren't up to standards. I drove by that place. It looked very nice. And they're like, well, the grandstands aren't very big. And I'm like, NASCAR doesn't need big grandstands. So like, I'm sorry to break it to you. They can't sell out tracks anymore.
Well, here's the thing too, is, and you've been to Darlington, is like, we did Darlington. It was like, it's like it holds 75,000, sold out crowd.
It always sells out.
The stands are packed. You look on TV and you're like, that's NASCAR.
And Darlington is like the epitome of NASCAR to me.
I think
it's old school.
They went to Indy. When they were at Indy, it seats 250,000 people.
Right.
And they had like 80,000 people there, which was more than we had at Darlington, but they're spread out over 250,000 seats. And they're like, nobody showed up for the Indy race.
Yeah, it's
Indy
like Bristol. They did the same thing with Bristol.
Bristol holds 150,000, and they're like, nobody was at the Bristol race. And it's like, there was more people at the Bristol race than there was at Darlington. But because Darlington was condensed and packed together, it looks like a sold out.
They had like 100,000 or something like that at Bristol. It's like,
and that's the thing, is
just a ton of people. But
well, another thing is like NASCAR made all these bleachers for the heyday 2000s. We had 500,000 people going to races and shit. I'm exaggerating, but like, the old videos.
No, yeah,
awesome.
I mean, it'd be 200,000 people at races. Like, honestly,
but then now it's like, hey, I think Dover's already taken some of their grandstands out. Atlanta's taken some grandstands out. Hey, if only 50,000 people are coming to these races, sell 50,000 seats.
And if 60,000 people, sell 50,000. You can make more money. Makes a lot of sense business.
Supply and demand.
Right.
That's it there.
They probably should. Everyone was freaking out when they started covering up grandstands like at Texas and stuff. They probably need to, man. They're not. It looks bad on TV when these fucking stands are empty.
I've never understood why people hate on NASCAR. And then those same people be like, look at the grandstands. Nobody even goes anymore. And I was like, well, let's be honest. It's 2021. I can watch a whole race on my cell phone. Why are you listening to Kevin Harvick's spotter talk to me? I was like, I can do that for $4 a month and watch everything on my TV, on my couch, drinking a beer, not spending any money. I was like, or I can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars traveling across state lines and spending a whole weekend gone from my family to watch a race. I was like, America's more lazy than ever, pretty much. I was like, nobody wants to go do that shit. Back in the day, if you wanted to watch a race, you had to tune in or you had to be there.
Yeah, NASCAR just needs to put an emphasis on like the experience, because there's no other experience like NASCAR when it comes to sports. There isn't. And like I said, I make fun of soccer. I've never been to like a fucking soccer match in England. That's probably crazy. I'm sure that shit gets crazy. I hear there's fights and shit. I've seen Green Street Hooligans. Looks dope. If I'm in England, I fucking hate soccer, but I'll go to a match because that's probably fun. You know, maybe hockey in Canada is crazy. I don't know. But from my experience, person that's never left the United States of America, you know, lives in Texas, like NASCAR is the epitome. It really is.
Yeah.
And I love football. I love college football, especially. But it just doesn't quite match NASCAR.
I feel you, dude.
They need to sell the experience. They need to get people. I've personally gotten people to become fans of NASCAR just by taking them to Talladega.
Dude,
that's it.
It's the perfect. If it's a perfect, like, if I was gonna get a buddy and get them into, like, hey man, you should like give NASCAR a chance. Okay, I'll go. I'm gonna take them to Atlanta. I'm gonna take them to Talladega, and if I can't tell them Talladega, I'm gonna take them to Bristol. Because I know both of those right there are going to hook someone. One of my best buddies I work with, I took him. He was like, he's been to Atlanta when he was younger and stuff, but he was like, went to party and he wasn't watching racing.
Yeah. It's like, I used to go to races in the 90s when I was a kid. It's like, was I really a NASCAR fan, or just my dad wanted to go see Rusty Wallace?
And last year, like before it was pre-COVID, I had a whole boys trip planned. I had like 10 buddies going.
Of course.
My normal race buddies. Like, you know, we were going to go all in because like I love Dega. And then COVID happened, and I still had 4 tickets, and I was like, "Fuck, dude!" Like,
do y'all get an RV or camper or anything, or what?
We usually just camp. Like we, I'll bring a hammock. I'll bring a hammock or a tent, and just rough it.
I always bring a tent, and I never set it up. I just end up sleeping on the ground with that as my blanket. Like,
oh naked. My god, I get a hammock.
Is the best.
I'll have a hammock in between 2 trees, and I'll just sway in my hammock, pass out. But I took one of my buddies. He'd never been to Talladega. And it was COVID race, so like there was only 5,000 people there, which was cool. It's kind of like our own little VIP race.
Yeah, at least that was the last year Dega, or
last spring race.
Yeah, and that was the first race they let people back in, right?
Yeah, and then I was like, hey, or they did Homestead and then Dega, and then I was at least like, hey man, just watch the racing. This is like going to be unlike anything you've ever seen. And he freaking loved it. And Ryan Blaney won, and he was like, when the race started, he was like, I like that 12 car. And I was like, yeah. He was like, it's bright yellow. He's like, that's a cool looking car. I said, yeah. He's like, I'm gonna root for him. And Blaney won. And then we were on the way home, and he was over there just ordering Blaney shit. He ordered all this Blaney shit on the ride home. And I was like, boom.
What was the year that Keselowski won Dega?
He's won a couple times.
Yeah, that's true.
He won.
Once I said that, I was like, that was fucking stupid.
I want to say the last time, I know when I went there on my honeymoon with my wife, he won the 17 fall race. He had that cool throwback scheme. I want to say race. That he may have won once since then, but I can't remember.
That might have been the one.
He had that white. It was the white Miller Lite, and he had the Miller Lite.
Yeah, the all white Miller Lite with the blue too, or whatever.
Yeah, with the green spoiler. It was.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That I'm pretty sure that was it. I took.
Yeah, that was my honeymoon race.
Never been to a NASCAR race. No, but was open to the idea. He's in a fraternity, parties, stuff. He's like,
oh, dude,
that sounds tight. Open to the idea, so took him.
Yeah.
And when you take somebody, like you said, they don't know who to root for, but you're like, you probably should like follow a car. It makes it more fun. Like,
yeah. At least have somebody to root for during the race.
Even if you don't care, it's just kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's almost like betting. It's almost like betting for a sport you don't care about, just to kind of get into it. So that's why I told everybody, I'm like, try to find somebody at some point. If you see a cool shirt, even just anything, and you're like, that kind of catches my eye, I'll just watch that guy. And that's what he did. He's all Brad Keselowski, like like the Miller Lite stuff. And I was like, that's a good guy to actually root for. Like he has a chance. He went and bought the shirt, the obnoxious one that has the graphic all over it.
Oh, the full
on NASCAR, And so he bought a shirt just for the race at, the tents. And then he ended up winning. And same thing. He was ordering Keselowski stuff. He's like, and part of the joke was like, he couldn't pronounce the guy's name even, but he's like, I'm all in. Like,
yeah, dude, that's what's awesome.
It's
like Talladega. One thing is like, and I know it's like the infield party atmosphere of original Dega is like, I always tell my friends, like I was telling you before, I always tell my friends, I said, just remember, you're at a NASCAR race. We're not at a party. We're at a fucking
this
NASCAR
isn't spring
race.
break.
This is a NASCAR race, and everybody is just having fun, having a good time. I mean, you might see some bullshit or something, but everybody's just there having a good time. It doesn't matter where you're from or what you look like. It's like everybody's there just to have a good time and party. And like I've been to football games, and I see numerous fights. I see all kinds of shit going on. And everybody's pissed off.
Right.
And it's like, dude, like everybody in NASCAR race is just having a good time.